Welcome back. This is Steven. This is episode 18, I believe. Hopefully I'm right on that. Anyways, this is covering the overnight session for August 5th, leading into New York session August 6th. And right now, I'm just going to kind of go over what happened yesterday. I put it on the last video. We just basically took a opening range breakout trade. It went south on us. We continued to think that. Then we looked at the initial balance and decided for the first hour and decided that we wanted to play, thinking that price was going to retrace back up into the initial balance. So we kept trying to get bullish, and we just kept getting wrecked. We got a little bit back, and then if you look here, we just got wrecked on all these small little trades down here. Just so small trades, but we had 2-3 contracts on, which is I would say too much for the state of mind and the situation that I was in and how bad trading. So losing this first trade still set me off a little bit. So I need to work on just being okay with that. So we went through the session, and yeah, it didn't end too well for us. So we ended up down, I think 325 on the day. Could have been a lot worse. So that was the day. So the evening session starts, and we decide to take a bunch of small little trades. We enter here at about 30 minutes after the open. We take a small W, and we take another small trade, get stopped out. This is on the 5-minute time frame. I think we were trading on the 1 minute, but it's just easier to see here. Then we went break even here. So I put the stop down at the bottom. We just went break even. We just got out of it after 4 or 5. We were just done with it. And then we entered in this zone. And like I said, I think we were on the 1 minute. So there was a little more. It looked like there was structure. We get stopped out again. We re-enter on this bullish candle after this little indecision candle, and we get stopped out again. And then going into 11 p.m. or so, we take another trade, get a win, take another trade, get a win, and then we go to sleep, and let's move over to MES. So then on MES, we decide to take a short, and we get stopped out. No big deal. And I'm going to come into Quant Tower now. So here it's about the same time. That's that same short where we got stopped out right here. So we took it, got stopped out, took another short, got stopped out. And these were based off fair value gaps. Just playing around with some different things. What I was thinking is that since fair value gaps on the Wednesday Asian session get filled more than 80% of the time in both ways, that when I saw some downward momentum, I would play the move back down into the gap or the bullish fair value gap, and it never happened. So same thing over here. I tried to do it again, and then once it broke out through this bearish fair value gap from the New York session, I decided to take a long. Once we broke through this bullish fair value gap, and we took a nice piece here. And then I'm going to move to the 15-minute time frame because this was actually a 15-minute time frame trade, and I made a mistake here. The mistake was I put my stop too tight. I was on a higher time frame of trading, and I put my stop too tight. So I don't think I have it on this chart, but I will show you what I mean. So we have this previous range here, right? We made this high, and the low and the high that put it in. All right, so we have this range. Well, I entered, if I just drag this over, it left the range, came back in, tapped into 50%. That's where I entered. I actually entered a little higher because I thought I wanted to have confirmation that it was going to come back up, and it just kind of bounced around. I went to bed. This is kind of at the open this morning, down in this area. But what happened was, I essentially had my stop too tight. If I'm doing this 15-minute range, I need to have my stop down here and my take profit up here. So it was just a poor placement of my stop loss. And it was a poor entry too, but I'm okay with the entry because I was just going for a little move. And that's hence this like 1-to-1-ish zone that we see here. But this stop right here should have been all the way down here, and I would have been fine. So that was just a mistake on my part. I know this because I've done this type of trade many times, but what I saw here was setting us up for the day. And what I saw was, okay, we made a high, put in a low, we made a higher high, we made a higher low, and I anticipate price to start to continue to go up again. We could obviously fake out and go down. We're kind of at a point right there. But we are, so what we did was, still feeling confident with our assessment, we entered again. I don't know why there's two here, but we entered again. That must be the fair value gap trade. This was right after open. And then we put our stop a little bit lower, and we took price into our target. And that was again just one contract, so pretty much these kind of washed each other out for the most part. Now back to trading view, going back to MNQ, our morning trade, we waited for the initial balance to be set. We got a close outside of the initial balance on the 5, and we took the long. We took some heat, it retraced back, took it up to the target, exited 4 contracts, and price went back down. Now it's moving back up, and I anticipate that it actually is probably going to either continue to go up or it's going to be a little choppy today. So where do I get that information from? If we go into the browser, we can see that in the what's in place screener, I have all of the Mag 7 stocks, some indexes in here, and ES is bullish, NQ, or ES is bearish, NQ is bullish, YM is bullish, RTY is bearish. So there's a mix in sentiment. Some of the Mag 7 is bullish, some of it is bearish. We go down in gap full, same thing, leaning a little more to the bearish side, but we have lots of indecision here on tickers from the initial balance. So it's probably going to be a choppy day. So it wouldn't surprise me at all that we just kind of range in this area. Yes, we could go higher, but I'm not interested in getting chopped up. So with all of those different stocks and indexes showing these mixed signals, anything could happen. So if anything, if I start to see it range, we might try some short range scalps later in the day. But for the most part, that's what we're looking at. And come back into trading view. Kind of see, I'm anticipating us maybe just chopping around in this range here. That's on NASDAQ. If we look at ES, we actually on a larger time frame, we are in this range right here. In the previous range, more specifically, we're in this range. So we need to break out of that range. If we break through onto this side of the green box, I'm probably going to be more bullish. Anticipate price going back up. So until that happens, I'm probably just hands off and going to be happy with how today turned out. So one last thing, let's go into Quantower. Looking down at our account balance. We'll see that the account is at 58,826. And we're up 496 on the day. So we're going to just kind of hands off for the moment until things become more clear to us. Which, while they're in this range, not so clear. So in this case, we need to break through this range before we start to get interested. Which is essentially, you need to come back up into here. So we do have this bearish fair value gap. Zoom in a little bit to that. This get rid of this zone. This right here, we already tapped into it once and rejected. God, why can't I just move it over? Really? Let's go to that line. Okay, so we already tapped into this once, so it hasn't been fully mitigated. So we're gonna look for another rejection off of this zone, the supply zone up here, or breaking through it and then getting into a long with our stop behind the bottom of the zone. So that's kind of our plan. Things are looking better today than they were yesterday. I think I got my head on straight, and I'm okay with the small losses I took on the overnight session. There were wins in there too, because I was okay with losing. I set the plan, I set the stops, and I kept them where they're supposed to be. Different, I executed without moving or changing anything. So that's it. We're done for today, unless we see some type of breakout or maybe a scalp back down to the bottom of the range.